What's up, everybody? I was thinking about what could I share during this difficult time, with so many Americans arguing and fighting and trying to determine what their stance is, and media and social media all impacting people's viewpoint. And I said, what can I share that would be productive in this time? And that doesn't divide, but educates people. And I thought about my profession, and I've been in the law enforcement profession for almost 15 years now. Yeah, and from a security perspective, and it's been a blessing to me, man. I went to school for business. My degree is in business, but I got into security while I was in college and ended up professionally moving forward and moving up in the ranks with security. I worked for the biggest security company in the United States as a ops manager, and then eventually became a client manager with them. And I had about 300 employees, and I had approximately 65 clients at one time, responsible for 14,000 hours a week. I was traveling Myrtle Beach. All of Myrtle Beach was my responsibility, parts of Charleston and parts of Florence. And then I moved to the company I'm with now, Ocean Lakes Family Campground. And I really love my job, really love it. I deal with tons of people. It's almost like a mini city, not 30 to 40,000 people in the season. We do a lot of stuff. We deal with the local law enforcement a lot. And I love it, and I appreciate what I do. And I am learning more and more about balance and perspective. The thing that I want to share with y'all, that I will be brief, that I think will be very beneficial for black men, for white men, for teenagers in general, when dealing with police officers. That's what I feel I want to talk to this generation about, and those that hear this video. There is a thing called, detention, being detained, and then there is a thing called being arrested. They're two different things, right? And I'm also a sled instructor with the state of South Carolina. I have led multiple sled classes and have certified multiple people throughout the state of South Carolina, in the Horry and Charleston counties. So with that being tri-counties. So with that being said, I'm very comfortable on this topic, and I want to educate people on this matter, right? There's a difference. Being detained is anytime you're stopped. You're stopped, whether you're traveling, you're walking. Being detained is prior to cuffs. However, being put in cuffs does not equal an arrest. It means you're being detained. Now, let's talk about what you can legally be detained for. It is referred to as reasonable suspicion. If a police officer feels like they have a reasonable suspicion toward a crime, like a reason to stop you. I smell marijuana. You fit the description of an individual we're looking for. If they detain you, they have a right for their safety and yours to actually put you in handcuffs while they investigate for a reasonable amount of time. Now, with that being said, what you do while you are actually being detained can result in you being arrested. Let's say you're not guilty, you are innocent, you didn't do anything. If you start to assault a police officer, if you start to do certain things during that time, it could potentially cause you to become arrested. And then you're arrested because of probable cause. If they have probable cause to escalate it and take you from being detained to being arrested, you could find yourself then going to jail. It does not make you guilty. You still have to go through a process. You still have to, you're still innocent until proven guilty, but you have reasonable suspicion that can cause you to be detained. You have probable cause that can cause you to be arrested. But even then, you still have to go through the court process. It's called due process, okay? So keep that in mind. If you're stopped by a police officer, whether you're recording it or choosing not to record it, how you respond and act in that moment can make a difference. So I was detained years ago in college, and I've told this story multiple times. I feel like this is a bit crooked, but it is what it is. I've told this story a few times over the years. I was detained, and I was upset. My family was upset. My mom wanted to sue. And at that point, I was in college. I didn't know any better. Legally, they did nothing wrong other than the part where they roughed me up, threw me against the face, through fence. You kind of bruised my face in the process, things of that nature. But detaining me because I fit the description, that part right there was off, and it was made up, hopefully not by the police. It was made up by somebody saying that I snatched and stole a purse. But regardless, I was detained in that process. What could have gone wrong is if I naturally swung. I didn't, because I saw a female first, and I was taught to never hit a woman. If I saw the male first and didn't know what was going on, I would have been a little bit nervous about what was happening to me, going to happen next. Possibly shot because I swung. So what I'm saying is my story, my narrative switched, and my narrative ended up being decent because I didn't make the wrong move in the process of being detained. You assault a police officer in that process, you can be tased and potentially it escalate to being shot. You should not be shot because that level of use of force is unnecessary, but you increase the chance of being shot if you are not in a position that you respond to being detained correctly. So to sum it all up, do not feel that you're going to jail and being wrongfully arrested because you are initially detained. You will be nervous. It feels awkward. You may or may not want a camera or someone present recording all of that to make sure you're treated fairly and correctly. But do understand, just because you're put in cuffs, don't let that process cause you to feel like you're being arrested. Wrongful arrest is illegal. And if you're wrongfully arrested, you can pursue that legally. And that's a whole nother conversation, what wrongful arrest is. But just remember, reasonable suspicion allows you to be stopped and detained, right? Including up to handcuffs. That does not equal an arrest. Now, an arrest is based off of probable cause. If they arrest you because of the smell of marijuana, well, you're walking, jogging, whatever you're doing, they can detain you. When it becomes evident you don't have marijuana, they're going to have to let you go unless during that time you make an unwise decision and you begin to break the law out of frustration, anger, feeling that it was prejudice, based on prejudice or racism, so on and so forth. You may cause yourself to end up in a predicament that they have a right to arrest you. You don't have to do that if you understand what's happening. If you understand you're being detained and you know you're not guilty and you know you didn't do anything, listen, let them go through their process. Once they're going through their process, they have to release you. If they don't, and they arrest you without probable cause, you'll have a case, but you should still be alive. And you'll have the opportunity to pursue that correctly. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this helps somebody. Love y'all. Be safe. Be safe. Sorry about the chirping. I still got to get that fixed. God bless.